Hello, and welcome to STEAM Sit Down. I'm Emily from the Raceland Branch Library. And if you're like me, if you've grown up in the South, generally our winters don't get very cold. But today, for our STEAM activity, I have a pretty cool project, if you know what I mean. Join me to make snowflake crystals. To begin our project today, we'll make a snowflake out of pipe cleaner. We've taken one pipe cleaner, cut it into 3 equal pieces, which we're going to twist together to form our snowflake shape. This is the body of the snowflake. And then a second pipe cleaner into 6 equal pieces. And this is going to form all of the ends of our snowflake. You'll get a shape that looks like this. One big snowflake. Also took a piece of string so that we can suspend the snowflake in our water. And I'm going to tie that string just around the top of one leg of the snowflake. And we have our snowflake ready to suspend. Now, to make our snowflakes sparkle, we're going to start with hot water. Now, be very careful when you are working with hot water. What I did was heat my water up in a glass jar in the microwave for about 5 minutes. Make sure you have pot holders or a towel when you are handling a jar of hot water. Next, we start adding our borax. Borax is sodium borate, and it's the sodium that's going to do the cool part of this experiment. I'm going to start adding in my tablespoons of borax. And this is a 3-to-1 ratio, so you would do 3 tablespoons to 1 cup of water. And I have 3 cups of water in this jar, so that's going to be 9 tablespoons. You may need more or less borax, but that's okay. You can eye it as you go. This looks like a lot here. So what we're going to do is very carefully give it a little stir. And what this is doing is saturating our water. When water is heated up, the water molecules move farther apart. So when we add borax to it, we're giving those sodium particles room to dissolve. The sodium molecules already have a crystal-like appearance. So when we dissolve them in water and give them time to reform, they will create larger crystals. You're going to notice just how milky the water looks now that it has all of this borax in it. And you'll see that there is some borax that is floating a little bit at the top and a lot that's sunk down to the bottom. This is a good indication that you have saturated the water well enough for it to form crystals. Now we just tie our snowflake onto a craft stick or a pencil to hold it over our water. And we carefully submerge our snowflake in that saturated water, being careful that it doesn't touch the very bottom or the sides if we can help it. And we are going to leave this solution for 6 to 12 hours. And you can leave it up to 24 hours with the borax, but you want to try not to touch it or move it too much. Leave it in a place where it's going to be still, and you will see those crystals start to form. Here is one that I already completed yesterday. It has had full overnight to sit, as you can see, taking the pencil off already. To remove it a little bit from the sides, but it has created a whole bunch of crystals around this. I have to turn it a little bit to get it out of the jar. But look at this. All of those crystals that have created this really sparkly, icy look on this snowflake. our beautiful salt crystal snowflakes. Make sure you have this hung up somewhere so that it can completely dry and those crystals will stay intact. Thank you so much for joining me for STEAM today. Have a nice winter and happy holidays.